Can a Ztto chain guide be used as a chain tensioner? Watch this video to see my pros and cons about it, thoughts and tips. So first off, the standout features for this chain guide is it has this pulley wheel, which allows you to use it as a tensioner for a single speed bike. Secondly, the price, I think it's relatively affordable. It costs $22 from the Ztto official store. I bought it with my own money. I'm not getting paid or anything to do this review. I'm just sharing my knowledge with, and my thoughts about it. So firstly, what are the pros I think this chain guide has? As you can see, or maybe I'll zoom in a bit, the quality here of the chain guide itself, which is made out of, I think, aluminum, is really good and it feels really sturdy. Also, because it doesn't have any moving parts, it feels a lot more robust in comparison to my other chain tensioner, which was hanging from here. It was also a lot more vulnerable. It relied on spring tension, which means it had more fatigue, and it could suffer damage if the derailleur hanger broke off or anything like that. Another pro this chain guide has as a tensioner, it gives you a lot more chain wrap, which means the chain goes around more teeth in your rear cog, so it's much less likely to fall off. And it also gives you, for the front cog, a bit more chain wrap because how it's designed, and overall it gives the bike a cleaner look and it looks less like a geared bike. In terms of cons or things I think they should improve, so while the chain guide itself is made out of aluminum, so everything here that attaches to the frame is aluminum, but this part up here and this part down here, this is made out of plastic, so I guess it would be more vulnerable to hits or getting broken or anything like that, but I guess for the price it's still acceptable. And the other con I can think of is the pulley wheel. One second. The pulley wheel down here is made out of metal, which makes the chain guide a lot more noisier than a plastic pulley wheel. And it's also not so simple to replace because this is a pretty small pulley wheel. It's a 9-tooth, and I wasn't able to find, at least for the moment, anything that could replace it. So I hope you liked this video up till now. Before I go on into my tips and conclusion, please hit the like and subscribe button so I can know you like this video and want to see more content related to single speed chain tensioners and converting single speed bikes. So the tips I can give you if you choose to try out this tensioner for your bike is, first, try to get the gear ratio as close as possible to your magic gear. So why you want to do this? You want to have minimal slack in your chain, because if you have a lot of slack, chances are the pulley wheel will hit your chain stay before it will be able to provide sufficient tension to your chain. So that's one thing to look out for. The second thing, also related to that, is try to aim for bigger gears. So I had to move from a 30-tooth front chainring and 19-tooth rear chainring, rear cog, to a 34 front and a 20 rear. The gear ratio is a bit harder, but not significantly harder. But it does take away the chain a bit further away from my chain stays. So that's the second tip I can give you. And lastly, I'm not sure if you can see it here. Let me see. Is I recommend, if you need to adjust the chain line, you can buy the washers. So I have here at the moment, it's a bit dirty. I have here at the moment a 1mm washer, and I used it in order to adjust the chain line. So to make sure the pulley wheel is aligned with the chainring and with my rear cog. So that's also a good tip. So how do I summarize overall this chain guide? I think for somebody who has who wants to convert his bike into single speed and doesn't have the appropriate sliding or horizontal dropouts, but does have ISCG tabs on his frame, it's a really good solution. I've already put 2 rides into it on fairly steep technical terrain, also on lots of bumps, and it feels, at least until now, a lot sturdier than my previous chain tensioner. So I would recommend it. The only thing I haven't tried yet, this is like a first impression, I still don't know how it will hold up as time goes by, as my chain starts to wear, but overall I would recommend it.